Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to another predictions and speculations for The Bad Batch Season 2. We're talking about episode 4 today, Faster. This is going to be the next episode next Wednesday that is coming out, and we're going to give you all our thoughts on what we think will happen in this episode. But before we do so, please hit that like button down below. It'll really help us out with the YouTube algorithm and help us get our channel out there. Subscribe to our channel for continued Star Wars content. We have so much coming out. We have The Mandalorian Season 3 starting in March. We have The Bad Batch continuing all the way through the end of March, and we have Jedi Survivor. All of those things are coming out in the first 4 months of this year. If you're not sticking around with Star Wars lads, you are missing out on a lot of great Star Wars content. We also have a ton of stuff coming out for you here in the future with our Revan episode of Legends Book Club dropping on Monday, as well as continued coverage of the Bad Batch next week, and more polls in the community section. If you're not checking that out, for our next bracket video series is going to be Star Wars books. A bunch of them have already come out if you haven't looked, so make sure you're looking at those polls daily. So without further ado, let's get into the Bad Batch episode 4, Faster. So Faster is an interesting title for this. We've had two different types of episodes so far. Obviously, we've had episode 1 and 2, which last year would have been combined into the premiere of the season. They're basically, you have to watch one to watch the other. They're not standalone episodes, they continue off each other. So we've had that, and that deals with the batch. And then we've had episode 3, The Solitary Clone, which is about Crosshair and the remaining clones that are left in the Imperial forces as the TK troopers start to take over for the CTs. So those are the two types of episodes we have here. Is if there we're alternating, it seems like we could get a Bad Batch episode next week. Senek, what are your thoughts on what's going to happen here in episode 4, Faster?
I mean, that's the thing. It's the title is very non-traditional. I was expecting something. I mean, I know they released all the titles, so when I was talking about the predictions last week, it was easier to like kind of like go on full tangents and think about, hey, like who could be more than just like Crosshair? There are so many possibilities of like characters that we can pull from the Clone Wars and even live action that could possibly work out here. It also has like a very historical connotation with Star Wars, with George Lucas often saying faster, more energy, more excited, or whatever. Right? In my mind, and I don't think we're going to even go back to them as like the main characters. I think we'll see them interact with some stuff, but I feel like this could be another Crosshair Imperial episode. And Faster to me kind of connects to that last final shot of Cody just looking on as like two Republic ships land, and they just see so many TK troopers. Like that beginning of the episode, they were talking about like two clones who were sitting at the table that Crosshair sits at. He's like, I really hope that they don't pass like the human conscript law, like the new step forward, right? It kind of really affects us and what we do, so it feels like that was like an underlying story that they were kind of writing and building up there. And I would think maybe they continue that off in episode 4, where we see the sheer amount of these troopers come out and faster being trained and all that. At the same time, Rampart is so hugely behind the TK troopers. At this point, he's like, all right, I'll just use these clones till they all die out. All right. It looks like they're already fading and going AWOL anyways. And the only way to really ensure that we have control is by quantity, and quantity is not something you can really do without very good training. So cut back on the training, pump them out faster. I think that's what faster is going to be. Yeah, I think no matter what the story is Imperial focused, and it's going to be very TK Trooper focused. And we could honestly just follow conscripts in the next episode and have them interact with a crosshair and interact with maybe another clone from the Clone Wars that we remember seeing in this one arc or whatever, and then maybe they run into the Bad Batch at the same time, right? Like we can see how our main characters kind of give these different POVs to this group of like guys who think they're really doing the best for the Empire, but everyone who's actually been in a real war is like, you guys are kind of pathetic. Even like I want to see, I really want to see Omega just beat up like a huge batch of like a squad of TK troopers, and then be like, wow, you guys are kind of trash. I don't know. That's just where that's the summation of how I see this faster being applied.
That's an interesting take. I definitely think we'll go back to the batch at least for half an episode. Next episode, it's going to be hard to leave them out. I mean, we know we've seen the Book of Boba Fett leave out Boba Fett for 2 episodes. Maybe the Bad Batch leaves out the Bad Batch for two, but I think we're going back to the batch at least for half the episode. I really like this alternating type of storytelling that they're doing, and I would love this to continue throughout the entire season, or at least until Crosshair becomes a bit more aligned with the Batch's story. We need to get to that point where the two of them are back as antagonistic forces. We're kind of left in the end of season one as like, okay, Crosshair, you won't change, so we're gonna leave you alone. But it's kind of like a mutual understanding of like Crosshair's like, you're not really my enemy anymore. I'm not coming after you, but this is who I am, and I am Imperial. I'm a clone, and I will fight as a soldier. I'm not coming away with you. So how they get on the same page again, we kind of predicted last week that Rampart was going to send Crosshair on a mission because he was going to kind of question, hey, you were one of the survivors of Tapoka City. You didn't see the Bad Batch. I thought they died there, or you said they died. That's not brought up here, but we mentioned in our review that there's a lot of mind games being played in this episode with Rampart and with Crosshair, and there's a lot of back and forth. And I want to see that continue. I'd like to see whatever Crosshair's next mission is and how he's dealing with other clones in the field, maybe ones that are a little less face characters like Cody is to us, clones that we can see Crosshair manipulate or kill if they get out of line. Or I'll throw Gungi out there again from last episode. I don't know what that will have to do with Faster, but Gungi is a character that we've seen many times in a lot of trailers, so it seems like that's going to be something that's at least in the first third to first quarter of this season. I think we're getting back to the Batch. I think we have to go back to Sid and see what the fallout is basically from not being able to steal any of the money from Dooku's war chest. I'm still not quite seeing where the threads are going to align for the Batch and for Crosshair to be antagonistic forces again, or at least set on opposite ends where Crosshair is ultimately going to have to make another decision. The other thing I think Faster could mean is maybe we're getting in touch with Rex. Maybe Cody is now in touch with Rex and he's there together and they're like, we got to build up this rebellion faster. We have to increase our presence faster, and we got to help these clones get out faster, kind of similar to what you're saying about the TK troopers coming in, those clones conversations. We see Echo so hell-bent on like, we need to use the money for good and to save people and to help people and help our brothers as well. Like, we can't just abandon everyone and go hide. And that's what Hunter wants to do. I think this episode we could start to see all those plans start to be implemented. Maybe we get references to somebody like Ahsoka or Bail Organa or something where Rex is kind of that centerpiece. He's the one connecting everyone, and he's the information broker amongst all of our Clone Wars type characters, and he seems to be the information broker who's helping clones all over the galaxy get away. I'd like to see the like increased in speed of like, okay, we don't have much time before the clones are basically wiped out, and most of that is coming from Cody's point of view, someone who Rex would trust. I think if we start to see that all developed, that would be an interesting direction to go to, and it would also push the Batch back into the path of Crosshair and back into the path of Rampart, who Rampart I kind of expected to be a bit more upset about Batch being alive. He seems to be taking the approach of like, hey, as long as they're not bothering me and everybody thinks they're dead, I'm okay with them being alive. Just like, don't let them foil my plans, or don't let anybody see them because I don't want Tarkin upset with me. And that's kind of the Imperial way. I think that, Imperials are always out for themselves and they could care less about their subordinates. It's about building their career and climbing the ranks. So I think we'll see more of that. Anything else to add to the predictions before we close this episode off here?
Well, I think I want to build off of what you were saying with the Commander Cody. If we do see the Faster be more of like a reaction, like with the TK troopers coming out in flux, you want to see an Echo have more of a stronger voice. Cody maybe connect with Rex, who is like the clone whisperer of the galaxy at this point. Do you think that Cody and Rex team up right away? Because in my mind, I would think that if you're already working with Rex and you're actually able to meet him, you should be like safe. But we don't see Cody in Rebels. We only see Rex, we only see Wolf, and we only see Gregor. And Gregor at this point, I don't remember if he was with Rex, but we did see him escape. So maybe eventually he makes his way to Rex. Cody, I don't know. Cody just seems like a character who could maybe revert back. Cody also seems like a character who maybe might go for a different cell. Maybe he doesn't fully agree with Rex's ultimate decision, right, of like taking out the chip and all that. Maybe he still has to like deal with like some of the PTSD of like shooting down his own commander. But do you think he's like gonna already be actively reaching out to Rex and working together, or do you think he's more of like, I found another group, or I'm gonna do things my way because I'm still very dogmatic and truly believe in like what the real empire slash republic should be.
I don't know if Cody would reach out to Rex, but I feel like Rex at this point is somehow finding everyone. Like he's got eyes everywhere. He's kind of like the ultimate clone spy, so his eyes are everywhere. And I think he'll find Cody, and I think Cody is level-headed enough to be like, "Oh man, they were mind controlling us." I think I'm on board with you because most of the clones, or none of the clones outside of the Batch and Rex and anybody else who has had their chip removed know that they were mentally controlled by Order 66 to kill the Jedi. And we already see the after effects of that on Cody's face having to kill Obi-Wan when that's mentioned. So if Cody is given a friend besides Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars, it is Rex. Like they go on a lot of missions together. They seem to have a really strong brotherhood. And I think Cody, as somebody who is more dogmatic, as somebody who is more in line with more traditional sense of right and wrong, I think he is a character that would be loyal to his brother like Rex, even if he thought Rex was a fugitive or something like that. Even if the Empire told him that, I think Cody is very loyal, and that's something we've seen throughout the whole series. I think that's going to wrap it up, though, for Bad Batch episode 4 predictions and speculation. Faster. Thank you all so much for watching. Let us know your predictions down below. Please hit that like button down below and subscribe to our channel. Like I said at the beginning, we have so much Star Wars content, and there's so many Star Wars shows coming out here in the future. We're going to be talking about all of them here on the channel, as well as giving you all of our original videos and tier lists and brackets and all of those things. Legends Book Club. We're continuing operations as usual here on Star Wars Lads, as well as giving all these reviews. So make sure you're sticking around for all of that great content. If you haven't been keeping track of our Jedi Fallen Order live streams, I did put out a poll the other day asking which day of the week y'all preferred for our live streams. So the winner of that choice, as well as the one that works a little best with our schedule, will be chosen as the day we will pretty much always do a live stream. We'll try to fit in a few more here and there. We want to ramp this up on the channel, and it's a lot of fun. We do stream the game, and we also answer all of your live Q&A questions, so make sure you're tuning in for at least to ask some questions. We have a lot of fun interacting with all of you guys, and we can't wait to do more of that. So thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.